Hello and welcome into another episode of Popcorn for Breakfast. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We've got our review of the latest Disney remake, Mulan, available exclusively on Disney Plus. We are going to get you caught up on what's been a very packed 2 weeks of movie news, and we are going to play a game. No schoolyard pick this week, a mystery game that Kirk has not yet revealed to me. We will play it at the end of the show. Let's do it. Joining us on another fabulous episode of Popcorn for Breakfast with your co-host, Kirk.
Hello, hello.
Kirk is punching me for some reason, or punching the screen. I should react.
Oh yeah, here we go. Ready?
Kirk's getting way too big of a kick out of the video thing. This is week 2, and week 1 was bumpy, and this is already worse. And we're 10 seconds into the episode.
What if I randomly, you have to be on guard the whole episode, that I'm just going to randomly punch you?
Well, no, I'm not doing that. But while I was doing the open, I did see you, acting like a gopher or something. You, had your arms up.
Excuse me. I was a cat.
Oh, a cat.
And then I licked my hands, my paws, and then I
yes,
cleaned myself.
Well, that's good. I think that's what the people probably expected whenever we said we were going to start doing video episodes, which we didn't actually say. We just kind of started doing it. So here we are. This is our second attempt at a video episode. Hopefully you guys got to check out last week's episode. There was a weird audio thing that was causing a delay. Maybe this will be the same. I don't know, but I think I fixed it. So hopefully if you're listening the normal way on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Amazon Podcasts, which is new to our portfolio, hopefully there's no weird audio delay that makes you want to pull your hair out. And if you're watching along on YouTube, great. Welcome to video episodes. It's been a good time. We had a lot of fun last week. We had a big movie review last week with Tenet, and I say last week, I mean last episode, so it was 2 weeks ago. But we reviewed Tenet. That was a lot of fun. If you haven't heard our review on that, you'll definitely want to go check that out. I think it was, I don't know, it wasn't as cut and dry. I mean, we've been talking about that movie for a long time, so I think people are probably like, oh man, they're going to love it. They've already prepared themselves in their mind that they're going to love it. And in many ways, I think that's, you can do that. I've done that before. But I think we both came out of it with different thoughts than we thought we were going to have. So
yeah, I agree.
All right. This week we have a really packed show. We have tons of news, actually. Tons and tons of news to get to over these last 2 weeks. We're going to give you a recap of the Emmys, which were last Sunday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Just go through some of the big winners. We've got, of course, lots of Disney news, lots of Marvel news. We've got DC news. We've got Oscar news, maybe. I don't know. I'm teasing a lot of stuff right now. We got lots and lots going on. And then, of course, we're going to get to our review of the latest entry into the Disney remake portfolio, Mulan. We paid 30 smackers for this guy. So this is hopefully money well spent on this content that we provide for free.
That's right.
By $30, I mean $15 each.
Let's remind everybody, we have no sponsorships. We have paid for everything ourselves, and we have open spots for ads. If you're listening to this and you have a small business or a big business, we are ready to do live reads, recorded reads, anything at all.
We practice them in front of the mirror before bed, just of fake brands.
Oh, yes.
Buy Apple Gum by Apple.
Wait, why don't they make that? That would be delicious.
They should.
Oh, I would buy that. I've got no other brands in my mind.
Yeah, me neither. But
that's why we don't have a sponsor.
We're really good pitchmen as well. So there's that. $30. We split it. We did a little bit of gangsterification there. We played it a little dirty there. So But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. And we're crowdsourcing our podcast, as Kirk said, and the crowd is just me and Kirk. So that's that's the nature of the beast. But that'll be a fun review. I'm eager to hear your thoughts, Kirk, because you and I think, have an interesting track record on the Disney remakes. We've kind of had like opposite views on them thus far. I think the only one we've actually reviewed on this podcast, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Lion King, which I think had our largest points disparity between the two of us like ever.
Probably. What are the other live action ones? Like, I've never seen any of the Jungle Book remakes. I still haven't.
Well, we didn't do Aladdin. We had to skip Aladdin because there was too much other stuff to review. We just didn't really get around to it. And since then, I don't think there's really, Lady and the Tramp, but we didn't review that.
Yeah.
Because that launched with Disney Plus, and there was tons going on at that time of the year last year. I would kill for Lady and the Tramp to be released now.
Yeah, they might
give us something to review. So yeah, I think this will be only the second one that we've ever reviewed. But there's quite a few Disney remakes, so I think we'll get into that conversation at some point, especially talking about kind of like, where does Mulan fall? How do we, kind of like revisit that conversation of like, how do we really view the Disney remakes now? And, is this a success for them? I mean, I'm sure financially it definitely has been, outside of, Mulan, with it being released during COVID. But I just mean in terms of like strengthening their portfolio and rewatchability and things like that. I think we'll have to get into that discussion for sure. Okay.
We will see.
We shall see. I've been watching lots of Netflix lately. Lots and lots. I checked out Bodyguard, which is a show that you recommended. So I overcame what is it? You have a term for it. What is it?
Oh, you see, I forgot immediately after
Oppositional
the episode.
Defiance.
That's the
what
one.
It is. Oppositional Defiance. No, I was in a show hole, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do my buddy Kirk a solid. I am going to throw him a bone and watch Bodyguard. And it was great. I loved it. 6 episodes, easy peasy. I watched it all in like 24 hours, which I never do. Like never, ever. So it was really good. I watched Enola Holmes. I keep saying Enola Holmes. No, Enola Holmes today.
It's hard one to say.
It is a hard one to say, with Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know. Are we going to review that one on the pod? Should I save my thoughts for that?
Yeah, don't share your thoughts, because what's funny is I ended Mulan last night, and then I almost immediately turned on that movie, and I withheld because it was like 1 a.m. So
yeah,
I was like, I probably shouldn't start this. So I do want to watch that one very badly.
Yeah,
so
maybe we will review it next week. I don't know. That's a contender. I'm all caught up on The Boys.
Nice.
The Boys on Amazon Prime Video. That's a show that, if you listen back, like at the beginning, it's a show that I picked up and then dropped. And I was actually like a little bit critical of it early on, just talking about like how they got a little bit obsessed with the novelty of their concept. And I still think that holds somewhat true, but I decided to give it another look, and they quickly won me back with great character development, really good creative writing. It's just great. I think it's turned into a pretty mature show, and season 2 is fantastic so far. Episode 6 of season 2 drops tomorrow on Amazon Prime, because they're doing week to week. So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
And this season 2, as I understand it, has been like groundbreaking, record breaking for Amazon. So
massively.
Bravo.
Yeah, the largest television premiere or the largest television show premiere of a season like ever. So
yeah, not
huge.
the show I would expect.
For sure,
had a lot of great hits, and The Boys is a hit. Tons of people love it, but I just wouldn't expect that to be the one that spikes the chart.
It's a good point, and I think that like the subject matter is one of those things. Like usually R-rated films don't make $1 billion. I think Joker was one of the first to kind of prove that wrong, just because it excludes a certain group of people,
right?
Either people who don't like that kind of content, or people who can't see it because they're too young. So it is surprising, but it certainly is striking a chord with people. I think people are feeling a little bit cynical these days. We kind of ebb and flow through that as a society from time to time, and this is sort of the perfect show if you're feeling a little bit cynical.
Yep, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, what about you? I think you said you checked out The Devil All the Time, which is one I have not gotten around to yet.
Woo, boy, yes I did. And maybe we'll do that
Is
one.
it,
I don't know.
maybe we'll do that. I mean, hey, I'm down. Based on your reaction, it sounds like it's a bit of a trip. What I've been seeing on social media, well, I haven't seen much, but I saw somebody tweet, will the Tom Holland stands ever forgive him for The Devil All the Time? And I was like, oh my, what does that mean? Like, what's going on?
I don't understand that. After seeing the film, I don't understand that statement. It doesn't make sense in my mind.
Yeah. I've heard it's dark with a capital D.
Oh,
and maybe a capital ARK as well.
100%. I have seen so many different movies and so many different genres of horror and thriller and suspense, and oh my goodness, this one, it's top of the list.
Wow. Like that's
it's not
big.
like, what's that movie where they like sew each other to each other? It's not that movie.
Human Centipede?
Yeah, it's not that.
God almighty, I cannot believe you just brought that up.
Well, I just thought about what's the sickest, darkest concept out there. I haven't seen that movie, never will. But what
I think it's like a rite of passage that, like, I don't know, for like kids my age, like everybody saw it in high school at somebody's house, and it was just like you're forever have PTSD from it.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. I've been there.
I can't do it. But then
it's not something I want to relive anytime soon.
I did see that Japanese horror film, The Audition, where the girl like falls in love with her director and then like completely just mutilate. It's terrible. Anyway, well, it's almost October. I mean, Halloween stuff is our conversation here. Devil All the Time. It's a contender, so we'll see.
It gives you the heebie-jeebies. Is that what you're saying?
That's perfect. Just like Topanga says to Corey in season 6, episode 4 of Boy Meets World.
Did it impede your ability to sleep? That's the real question. Did it shake you? Did it shake you to your core like that?
Yeah, I had a hard time falling asleep afterwards, and that stuff normally, those types of movies don't. But I think what it was, a little snippet here, is that it was super realistic.
Ooh.
And yeah, so.
Yeah, so you feel like it could happen. You feel like it could be.
I thought it was a true story.
Oh, wow.
But while I was watching it, and maybe it was. Who knows?
Maybe. X-Files music. Cue the X-Files music. No, you have my attention though. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Definitely gonna check it out during the daytime with the lights on and the windows open.
And I also watched The Staircase, the Michael Peterson story.
Oh yeah, the Michael Peterson story, man. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, I did. It was fascinating, and I have so many questions that will never be answered. So here I am trying to go through this thing called life after viewing it.
Are you hashtag Team Owl on that?
I actually am hashtag Team Owl. Owl theory.
You are?
Yeah,
I am too.
Like, why else would the feathers be in her hands and her hair pulled from the root? There's no contest to that.
I know, and like the depth of the talons and all the stuff that they go into, like it's pretty wild.
I mean, the owl did it. It's tragic. It's horrifying.
It is insane. Can you imagine that's the way you go?
Ugh.
An owl just spears you, and then you fall down the stairs. Can you believe that? That's insane.
Although I don't think that Michael Peterson is entirely guiltless. So
creepy dude. He gives off some weird vibes for sure.
Here's my full theory that it's just coming to me now. The owl attacked her. And he was already, having issues with her because he was having other relationships, as he said. And he was actually upstairs. She came to the stairs to try to get some help. And I think he went boop and flipped her hand off the stairwell, and she went down, down, down. That's my theory. Owl plus Michael.
Oh,
Peterson.
Combo.
Mm-hmm. He was like
phase 1 owl, phase 2 Michael Peterson.
It was a 1-2 punch.
I think, oh gosh, with the punching. I think that Michael Peterson trained the owl to attack. That's a theory that I don't think has been explored enough. I know owls are like very dumb, but you know what I'm saying? Like they should consider that.
I have seen those owls fly across Six Flags little outdoor theater so many times. So they're trainable. They're trainable, and he's a weird
I'm
enough
telling
person
you,
to do
man.
it.
I know, that's the thing. It was kind of like a Gone Girl situation with him where it's like, man, you're just kind of the worst. And so like even though this like owl theory seems pretty legit, you're also just kind of the worst. So it's hard to believe you, and yeah, it's just all around is crazy. It's the perfect storm.
Yeah, I like your theory. I think we solved the case.
Case cracked. We're on it. Okay, well that's all well and good. Let's jump into what's poppin' because we have a ton to cover. All right. First on the list, let's talk Emmys. Kirk, let's talk Emmys. Sunday night, last Sunday we had the Emmys. I'll come clean. Same thing with last Emmys. I did not watch it all the way through, but I did catch some of it, and then I watched the rest of it on Twitter while I watched basketball. So that's how that went down. Because I just really like only need to know who wins for that show. I don't need the other storylines, but I thought it was cool, the whole like virtual, I don't know, like the production was pretty slick. Like they did lots of like from home type stuff and it came together. I was like, kudos to you guys. That's a pretty big accomplishment. I think people overall had like pretty rave reviews for the whole thing. Did you get to catch any of the Emmys?
Oh, I watched the whole thing as I always have to, because I can't like put the pieces together. I got to see the whole story, how it goes down. Yeah. What I found most fascinating and kind of inspiring is that celebrities are just like everyday people. They're social distancing. They're wearing their masks.
Right.
Sometimes they took their masks off at the wrong time. Like if someone won, they took their mask off and then hugged someone with a mask on. I'm like, oh, that's wrong, but then like I was like, oh, I'm sure I've done something like that too. So it felt like they were real people during this award show, which was kind of fun. And to see them in the same room as each other, like the celebrities that were coming to give awards, and Jimmy was on the other side of the room, and it was so surreal, but also so fun.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty cool thing. Big storylines coming out. I think the biggest one, far and away, has to be Schitt's Creek, which accomplished just an amazing feat by sweeping the entire comedy category, all of the major awards, including directing, writing, all of the acting awards, best comedy series. I mean, just every single one for their final season. So that's quite an accomplishment, especially for a Canadian TV show that aired on Pop TV, with some actors who were, no names before this. I mean, Annie Murphy, they tell the story of Annie Murphy having like $3 in her bank account and like being about to quit acting. And, Dan Levy, I mean, just like a guy who created this thing, with his dad and just created this whole universe. And, they didn't really, I think, probably didn't think it had much of a shot, and then what they've turned it into and what it ended up being by the end of it, and to cap the show closing with all of these awards, it's really, really, really impressive, and kudos to everybody involved in that show.
Yeah, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, they come from Canadian TV royalty. Back in the day, they were on a little show called SCTV, where it was this Canadian comedy sketch show, just extraordinaire, and that's where they got their legs. You saw some of the incredible movies like Best in Show come out of that troupe as well. Dude. And so to see them together was like such the perfect pairing. And I think there's so many people out there who don't know how clever, how well rehearsed, how skilled they are as comedians. Mostly everyone just remembers Catherine O'Hara from Beetlejuice. So that's
and Home Alone.
And Home Alone, of course.
Yeah.
So having that combo, it almost probably just felt like, oh, we're just doing just a long version of SCTV here. Let's do it. Let's get the gang back together. Who knows how long it'll last? And then it was extraordinary. So I'm only in season 2, I'm still in season 1. That's how far behind I am. But the first like 6 episodes are killing it. So we'll see how it goes
Well,
from there.
yeah, I was a little surprised to hear this because Jackie and I were watching it. We're through season 5. We're kind of waiting for the last season to drop on Netflix, though I think it's available on YouTube TV. Frankly, I got a little bit like burnt out on it because we watched it so fast. But I also felt like in season 5 they were sort of losing steam, like more supporting characters were getting involved, and I just really think that show's strength is with the core 4 and them being together. And so I felt like as new characters got introduced, it kind of weakened a little bit. So I'm excited to see season 6 because I think seasons 1 through 4 of that show are as good as like anything I've ever seen. And maybe season 5 will be good for me on a rewatch. I think maybe I'm just watching it too much or something like that. But really impressive show. It makes me really excited for the final season because they had not really won up until this point, and then all of a sudden it's like an Emmys clean sweep. So I'm glad that they've cemented their place in history on their final season. I think it's deserving of that, and I'm excited. You know, they got a big syndication deal. They're going to be on Comedy Central and a bunch of other networks. So good for those guys. It's a great story and something you love to see. Other storylines from the Emmys, HBO just dominating. You know, this is what HBO does. Succession, which is a show that you and I are huge fans of. Jeremy Strong taking home an acting award. Good for him as Kendall Roy. What a character. What a great television character. And Succession taking home what I thought was a really heavily contested category of best drama series, and man, season 2 of that show was so good.
Woo! Yes, it was. Seeing Jeremy Strong win was everything for me at the Emmys because he was so great. And leading up to it, you know, initially when he got his nomination, I'm like, oh, he's gonna win because it was so fresh. I had like just finished it.
Yeah.
And then as we near it, I'm like, nah, you know, I don't know. Do that many people really love this show? I thought it was fantastic, and then he just gets the win, man. So good to hear and so good to see.
Yeah, no doubt. And a show that I knew was going to dominate, Watchmen, you know, taking home a lot of awards and a lot of nominations in the limited series category, including Best Limited Series. And Regina King, who is just an absolute monster, so talented, winning for her role as Angela. I love to see that. I know you watched Watchmen as well recently, so that was that was good to see. What that show, man. I've been saying it to everybody who will listen. The narrative that they pull together over the 12 episodes of that show is one of the most impressive things end to end that I have ever witnessed. I think it's just incredible.
Yeah, you're so right. You know, I watched it really quickly. Did you watch it week to week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I watched it week to week. Yeah,
I watched it while I was running on my treadmill. So it was like this long journey, and you said it so perfectly. The way they just wove those stories together, it felt longer than 12 episodes, but in a good way. I felt like I watched 30 episodes of a season, and they were so concise and intentional with it that it was so watchable and brilliant.
Yeah, no doubt. It really good show. And then also on the HBO end, Zendaya taking home Best Acting Award, which I think was viewed as a bit of a surprise. But I mean, we know how good of an actor she is. Euphoria is not a show that I've gotten around to watching just yet. It's been on my list, but this puts it pretty close to the top of that list now, knowing that she took home her first major acting award with that. So congrats to Zendaya, who's going to continue to do amazing things, who will be in Dune upcoming, and of course is MJ in the Spider-Man series. So lots of exciting things for her too. So that was really good to see. Any other takeaways, Kirk, from the Emmys?
I don't know. They weren't. I mean, obviously there wasn't any flair. There wasn't. They couldn't do like a big shtick. You know, that was ever since Ellen dropped. You know, is she the one? Well, the selfie, right? You know, and everyone's been trying to like have like a moment every season of the Emmys. There wasn't that, which was fine. Like it didn't hurt anything, and speeches were shorter because they were all doing it via their screen at home, which was nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so definitely one to remember. I think it's one of those things, like there was nothing super controversial to me that came out of it, and it was just so nice to see these great shows get the accolades, because every once in a while, at least from my perspective, the Emmys can feel a little bit like a popularity contest, kind of like the Golden Globes, and I think in a lot of ways, like, it kind of is, but at the same time, this year I feel like they got it right more often than not, so happy to see all of those winners, especially Schitt's Creek. Really, really happy for those guys. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Some other news. I'm going to go with non-Disney superhero stuff that people hear about all the time first. So here's my little Oscar nugget. So the Venice Film Festival happened. It went on. I don't know how they did it, but it happened. And I probably need to figure that out because I just saw like movies were coming out of it. I was like, okay, I guess the Venice Film Festival is a thing. But Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand, took home the Golden Lion Award, which is the highest film achievement at that particular festival. And by the way, the last 3 movies to win that award went on to be nominated for Best Picture. They are Joker, Roma, and The Shape of Water, the latter of which, of course, won the big award at the Oscars. So just wanted to call out Nomadland with Frances McDormand. Put it right on your Oscar watch list because there's a really good chance that one's going to be there. All right. Let's move into the crazy stuff. There's lots going on. So first of all, we were talking about The Boys earlier. The Boys. Yes. I'm going to do that every single time. I don't know why. It's involuntary.
Can we add that to the
add it to the soundboard? I'll just hit it. Yeah.
The Boys. The Boys.
Yes, I'll do that right after this. Actually, we just passed 11 p.m., so that's not happening tonight. But yes, eventually, Kirk.
It's so late.
But speaking of The Boys, Amazon. This is hot off the presses. Variety is reporting that a spin-off series of The Boys is being fast-tracked on Amazon Prime Video. And the way that this show is being described, so it'll be from the same creators of The Boys television show. The show is being described as, quote, half college movie and half Hunger Games. Which I'm like, okay, you have my attention. You had me at spinoff. So this is one to keep an eye on.
That's all we have. It's just
it's superhero college, I guess.
Same characters, new characters, both.
It's got to be new, I would think. Maybe a prequel. I don't know. There's lots that we don't know. The first thing that popped into my head was Sky High.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you remember that movie?
I love Sky High.
Dude, I think that movie, it's definitely like campy galore, but I think it's actually solid.
Oh, it's very solid. And Greg from Succession was in Sky High.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Cousin Greg, one of the best characters in that show, man.
Oh, I was so sad he didn't win an Emmy. I just wanted him to win too because I
just to see his speech because it would have been amazing. He's so awesome. He like you talk about celebrities being people. He is at the top of that list. He seems like the most down to earth guy ever, and he feels like he just really is Cousin Greg in real life, like straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my good friends, my best man at my wedding, Ryan McCain, ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to drop it here.
Are they doppelgangers?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't get a hold of them the night of the Emmys. I don't understand why.
Yeah, you could like make a Pokemon evolution chart out of Ryan McCain, Cousin Greg, and Adam Driver. Just put it in a row, and Adam Driver is the final form. That could absolutely be a thing. We should do that. We'll Photoshop that together. Just for you, Ryan. We'll Photoshop it together.
I'm so ready.
So there's that. But yeah, I mean, based on that description, it sounds like this is just like TVMA Sky High, which has me so, like, that just sounds overstimulating, but also amazing. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely one to check out. We'll keep you posted. They're saying fast track. I don't know what that means. I don't know what kind of schedule that puts it on, especially with COVID, but they're rocking and rolling.
Maybe it's like, okay, as soon as everyone can get vaccinated, it's on. Like,
yeah,
we're greenlighting, we're getting everything ready. Cameras getting ready. Sets are being built. I guess you could build a lot of sets right now, probably.
Sure, you could. Yeah, why not?
You could. A lot of times you have to wear masks when you're working with all the material and whatever.
Yeah, you can work outside. I mean, there's lots of like construction jobs happening right now. I think that's sort of in a similar vein. So
I think they're just going to be ready to go. All the actors line up, vaccine.
Production timelines are going to be cut in half whenever this is all over.
Yes.
All right, next one. We're moving into Marvel Land. We're moving into Disney Marvel Land. Here we go, and this one is big. This could have easily led, but I wanted to save the superhero stuff for later. Deadline is reporting that Jonathan Majors of Da 5 Bloods and Lovecraft Country fame will be appearing in Ant-Man 3 as Kang the Conqueror. That's right, Kang the Conqueror, who, for those of you who are not familiar with the comics, is a big-time villain, massive, Thanos-level villain.
Yeah.
I did a video on this because I am very excited about this news. You can catch it on our YouTube channel, also on Facebook, for those of you who didn't get to see it, basically talking about the implications, but we can go a little bit into it right now. Initial reactions are, well, I've got a million, so I'm going to try to not be scatterbrained here. First of all, I'm going to use a visual aid. Young Avengers. Got this trade right here. If you guys need to read something ahead of Ant-Man 3, I promise you it needs to be Young Avengers, because that's exactly where this is going. We've already got Cassie Lang, who is Ant-Man's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Kate Bishop confirmed to be in the Hawkeye show. And why Kang fits into this is that Kang is like a time traveler extraordinaire. He's from like the 40th or like 30-somethingth century and travels back in time. And in one of those timelines, he goes back in time to prevent himself from being attacked, which is what the event that's made him become a villain. And in that timeline, he becomes Iron Lad, who is in the Young Avengers, who is a young, more technologically advanced version of Iron Man.
So what you're saying is that Jonathan Majors could be the character Kang the Conqueror who connects very easily the Disney Plus to the cinematic world.
He is the
like
link.
That. Wow.
No doubt in my mind that they're gonna, and because there's also Hulkling is in the Young Avengers, that could easily be introduced in the She-Hulk show.
Oh, wow.
There are infinite possibilities that could happen, but I think we're definitely building towards the Young Avengers. Florence Pugh in Black Widow also sort of leads in that direction. So I think we're very quickly accelerating towards a situation where we have an adult Avengers team and a young Avengers team. And in the comics, there's even a period of time where the Avengers are out of commission. They have this big event called Avengers Disassembled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, they go their separate ways. Like they have this big thing, they get destroyed, and the Young Avengers have to step up. So, I mean, this opens a ton of really exciting possibilities. And I think Jonathan Majors is an incredible actor who they are very, very lucky to have gotten for this role.
That's amazing. That is really amazing. My mind is blown, as it always is with Marvel. And I can't wait to see how all the pieces fit together in 2029 when all of the movies finally come out.
Right. Oh, man, it hurts so bad. That's actually a really good segue into our next story, which is that Disney has announced a series of delays. This all according to the Hollywood Reporter. The one that hurts the most, in my personal opinion, is no Black Widow this year. And it's getting pushed back all the way to May 7th, 2021.
Which is a full year.
It's a full year from when it was originally supposed to come out.
So
a full year.
Does that mean that no one's buying Mulan on Disney Plus? Because Mulan has been out for a week on Disney Plus on Premier Access?
Maybe two.
Maybe two. And so this news comes right after that, where they have a good gauge of did it work? And now Black Widow has been pushed back. I mean, it's going to be $1 billion movie in the theaters. So is that the case?
And that's the thing, man. I think there was no scenario in which Black Widow was premiering on Disney Plus. I just think no matter what, they were like, this thing has to go to theaters. I thought it was going to be November or December this year, and they would stick to it. But to your point, $1 billion movie, and they don't want to leave that money on the table.
I guess they for Disney Plus is like, listen, we gave you Hamilton for free.
Right.
So
for free.
Shut up.
Yeah. No, for real.
That's probably, as I talk through this, their stance. So
yeah.
Fine.
So that means that, first of all, it means that there's no MCU movie this calendar year. That's the first time that's happened since 2007. 2007 was the last year that we didn't have an MCU film. Think about that for a second. That is mind-blowing.
Yes, it is.
So we go a full calendar year, but 2 months after Black Widow, we will get Shang-Chi in the Ten Rings. So Eternals, I think, is probably going to end up getting a full year delay as well when it's all said and done. But it looks like we're going to have a situation next year where you get Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals sort of back to back to back. So that could be a really exciting scenario, assuming it plays out that way. Nothing is guaranteed, as we well know.
Right.
West Side Story also gets just flat out delayed a full year, from December this year to December next year.
Ouch.
Yeah, and that movie's had all kinds of problems getting off the ground anyway, so that really hurts. Now, Disney is keeping a few on the docket for this year. They don't want to fully give up on the theater releases, so Soul will still release during that Thanksgiving window as originally scheduled. Disney and Pixar's Soul, starring Jamie Foxx, and the Agatha Christie adaptation Death on the Nile is going to release during the Christmas window. So I think December 18th is when that one is coming out. So we will still get a couple of films. And considering how late we are in the game, I'll bet those ones stick. I really want Soul to be successful because I think it looks good, and I don't want it to be... Well, let me just say this. I don't want it to not be successful because of COVID.
Right.
That would be a huge bummer. And that already happened to Onward, which I thought was a really, really good movie. So I would hate to see that happen to another Pixar film.
Absolutely.
But yeah, lots of delays. But on the good news side of the business, we got a WandaVision trailer. So WandaVision is the Scarlet Witch Vision series that is coming to Disney Plus. We got the trailer during the Emmys, and if you go to Disney Plus and search WandaVision, it says coming December 2020. So it has been confirmed for this year. Kirk, what did you think of this trailer?
This trailer was so spectacular in its style, in its rhythm, in its confusion, in its marketing, and I want to watch every bit of it. There's a moment when they're in black and white, and I swear that Elizabeth Olsen probably watched like 100 hours of Lucille Ball before she filmed that scene, because she was perfect.
Yeah.
She was perfect acting that out. So I don't know why that's all happening. I don't know if Scarlet Witch is strapped to some sort of machine and she's like projecting all these different things. I don't know what's happening, and I want to see it all. It's so cool.
Yeah, it looks exciting. I think I'll do more visual aids for you here. Here's a little book called The House of M. It's another trade paperback comic book you can get, or you can maybe buy single issues, but they're probably expensive. But this is another Marvel event that feels like it was a little bit teased in the WandaVision trailer to me, and could, as you saw on the cover of that, lots of X-Men characters. We could see WandaVision as a way to start introducing the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would be very interesting.
And maybe bring the New Mutants back in through WandaVision. What do you think?
No, they're gonna kill the New Mutants with fire. They're gonna make sure that nobody remembers that is a thing.
Kang the Conqueror is going to get his own spin-off film, and in beat one, he's going to murder all of them.
Yeah, that's going to be the first 10 seconds of that movie. Oh man. Yeah. So WandaVision looks really interesting. I think there have been theories that this movie will play into the new Doctor Strange film, The Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
Because we're expecting Scarlet Witch to play a role there. I'm just excited for Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, this is like, that's going to be great. I can't wait to see how they pull that off. I definitely think, to your point, Kirk, that there is probably a lot of this that's happening within Scarlet Witch's mind. Sort of like manifesting Vision back to life, after he was killed by Thanos. Spoiler alert.
What?
So, yeah, I know. Just drop that bomb on you. I definitely
spilled my drink all over everything.
That would have been tragic.
What a joke.
But yeah, I mean, I think that there's going to be some weirdness. I'm glad that they left it pretty vague in the trailer, but they definitely showed me enough, as if I wasn't already going to watch it. They showed me enough to get me very, very excited. Let's just say that.
For sure.
Okay. Next up on the MCU TV series circuit, She-Hulk. We have our She-Hulk, Kirk. Emmy Award winner Tatiana Maslany, who, got rave reviews for her performance in Orphan Black, and, is definitely an up-and-coming, seasoned veteran, but also just a huge talent, Emmy Award winner. So we've got our She-Hulk. And also interesting news here, Kat Coiro, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is joining She-Hulk as the executive producer, and she has directed, so she's going to be directing some episodes. She's going to be EPing the show. Her background is stacked. She's worked on Always Sunny, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Dead to Me, tons of amazing television shows. So maybe a little bit of a comedic touch to this show. I don't know. There's always a little bit of that with Marvel, but we've got our She-Hulk, and that one seems to be well underway.
Now, did you ever watch Orphan Black?
No, I haven't gotten a chance to.
Me neither. And I'm scrolling through Tatiana's IMDb page right this very moment. She has over 70 acting credits.
Yeah, she's a baller.
That's insane. Like, bravo. I was a little upset, like everyone else, that Alison Brie did not win the ticket to She-Hulk.
Yeah, that was a big time fan casting, and that would have been pretty slick.
But I trust them. I trust Marvel with my life.
Yeah, and I like to see them bring in people who maybe we weren't expecting. Like I like to see them do stuff that people didn't predict. It's fun that way.
I mean, Chris Evans, boom, done. No one expected that to work out. And
everybody's got terrible hot takes on the Chris Evans front. Everybody, if you just went back to 2009 and got all the Avengers hot takes, you could bury everybody, myself included. Like, what? Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans, this is horrible. Like, everybody had that take. And now it's like, he's the dude. Like everybody, he's universally beloved.
Yes. So I think it's exciting. Makes me want to go back and watch Orphan Black now to get warmed up for She-Hulk. I probably have a lot of time. Again, 2050. I think that show's coming out. So
2050. Yeah, let's book it. I think it'll definitely be out by then.
So
barring some sort of apocalyptic world-ending event. So, which is definitely on the table. Yeah, definitely on the table. No options are off the table there.
I mean, new crazy crap happens every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Most recently, here's my random story for you. This is only crazy in my world, and it's not even that crazy. Here's what happened to me. Overstock sent me an entertainment center that I did not order. I got a UPS notification that an entertainment center was coming to my house, and I was like, I called Overstock. I was like, yo, I didn't order this. And get this, they were like, listen, we can't help you. You're going to have to work with UPS to get rid of this thing. And so I called UPS and I said, hey, I would like to refuse delivery of this thing that I was just notified is coming to my house tomorrow. It weighs 200 pounds and I don't want it on my porch. And UPS, I kid you not, UPS said, you will have to physically talk to the driver when they arrive at your home. We cannot, in our system, refuse the delivery.
What?
Is that the most insane thing you've ever heard?
So you're sitting at home that day.
Yes.
Just like watching the camera. Like,
so yeah, I told
the
the UPS person, I said, this is insane to me because what's going to happen is I'm going to tell this guy not to drop it off and he's going to go enter it into a computer that says I refuse the delivery. So why can't you just do that? I know you're sitting at a computer right now. And she was like, that's not how this works. I was like, well, that's how it should work.
How in the entire UPS organization has no one figured that out? That makes no sense.
I know, it makes no sense. So then the saga continues. So yes, as you alluded to, I am, first of all, already obsessed with watching my doorbell camera all day. I'd never had a doorbell camera until this year, and I don't know how to explain the effect that it has on me, but I freaking love, I don't even know if I love it. I just am drawn to it. I'm always looking out there like, oh, what's going on? I don't know. It's just like weird human curiosity. It's just such a bizarre thing. So anyway, I watched my doorbell camera for like 8 hours on Saturday. And sure enough, he shows up while I'm watching Deer Hunter for the blog.
Yep.
And I run out there and I'm like, I don't want this thing. He was like, okay, great. Thank you. On Monday, Kirk, it continues. On Monday, they dropped it off on my porch. I kid you not. They dropped it off on my porch. I looked in the Ring doorbell and there was 2 giant boxes on my door.
Okay, so did you catch the driver or did they drive away?
No, they were gone.
You missed them. What happened after that?
So then I call UPS and I get the same person.
What? That's unheard of.
I said, well, you're not going to believe this, but the package that I waited all day to refuse on Saturday is now on my porch, and it weighs 200 pounds. And I was like, you guys need to come get this, and if it's stolen off my porch, I don't care. Like, right. I would actually prefer that at this point. And she was like, okay, we'll send somebody back. And so they came and picked it up. For all I know, it'll be back at my house tomorrow. I don't know. It's insane. It's chaos.
That is so nuts. My only qualm is that, was it nice? Like, could I have taken it?
So here's the thing. I checked it out. It would not fit my television.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I was bummed about. Because I was like, listen, they just sent me a $500 entertainment center and they have no tracking on it. I could just keep it.
Right.
And I probably should have just Facebook Marketplaced it, but I didn't want to bring it into my house because it was ginormous. And I was like, what if I can't sell it? Or like, what if Overstock's like, hey, you kept this thing, we're charging you $500. I don't know. I couldn't pull the trigger.
That'd be my biggest fear too. It's like, hey, that was your fault, but like you knew it wasn't yours. So
right.
Oh, what a nightmare.
It was a literal nightmare. So that's what I'm talking about, dude.
That is like, like really dumb stress dreams that you get sometimes.
Yes.
Like, why could I not sleep? Why did I have that anxiety? That would be one of them.
That's it. Yes, so that is totally it.
And you actually had to live through it. Like
I did. I lived it. It was all too real, Kirk. It was all too real.
You need to let us know if that freaking thing comes back to you because I want.
If it comes back, I'm putting it on Facebook Marketplace 10 minutes later. Say first come first serve, $200 mystery box. You don't get to see what's in it. You just have to come pick it up. I think people would be enticed by that. I think they'd be like, "Oh, mystery box."
Absolutely. You grab a friend. You're like, "Hey, can you put 100 in this? I'll put 100 in this. I just want to see what happens."
Let's just see what goes down. Oh man, what a trip! What a trip that was. But yeah, so there's that story for no reason at all, other than to say that 2020 is the worst, and not just for macro reasons, but for small, tiny, micro things that are happening.
Yes.
As well. So there you go. Where were we? Oh, okay. Last Disney Plus news. We were talking about She-Hulk, but I got one more for you.
Okay, I'm gonna eat chocolate pretzel since we're really focused here.
You're eating chocolate pretzels. Okay, good. We're locked in. Yes, and I hate it. Please, you know that I hate this. Kirk loves to make mouth sounds into the mic, and it makes me want to dry heave pretty much every time. Whether it be crunching or slurping or weird things.
That was delicious.
This is what I have to deal with. Okay.
Move on with our show. No big deal.
We got the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. React to it. What are your thoughts?
It sounded like you were ordering me. React to it.
React to it right
now. I would say that the overall feeling I got from the trailer was as if they made a flip book of the pictures they gave us the week before. It was the same.
They're like
thing.
in Now with Motion.
Yes, it really was the same thing. I really, what I would have wished would be like, what was the left hook, where it was like, oh look, Luke Skywalker's over in that corner and he's gonna walk this way for 2 seconds, or Yoda would come in and say, "Child, you are of mine," whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And none of that happened, and so I was like, all right, it looks clean, looks like it should, but
yeah, it looks like it should. The music's good. We got Mando saying "This is the way" a couple of times. We got, they played their hits.
Exactly. So. I'm still excited for it, but it didn't really make me like text you immediately. That's how.
Yeah.
That's the what am I looking for? The stakes benchmark. That's the benchmark.
Dude, can we talk about one of the best trailers ever? Let's see if we agree on this. Was the Rise of Skywalker trailer? That trailer was top notch.
Out of this world.
It was like that trailer was better than the whole movie, and it's not close. Like that trailer was so good.
Yeah, it was.
I don't understand. Like that should be what they do for every trailer. Like make it that good, please. Mm-hmm. And the Mandalorian should have done that. But what's interesting, we talked about this with the photos too. Like they're playing things pretty close to the chat, like to the vest here. Like they're not showing us any of their cards. You know what I'm saying? Like. They mentioned the Jedi in this trailer, which I think is the only thing that really like sticks out. But we knew this was coming, right? Because we have the Ahsoka Tano casting news, so we know there's going to be at least one Jedi in this series. But they don't show us anything. We know that Mando is now like traveling across the galaxy to find the Jedi, who they're calling wizards, which I love. That feels like very Star Wars lore, But that's about it. So I mean, we haven't seen a ton from the show yet.
Yeah, even one lightsaber with a mysterious figure,
or just a sound effect
in the dark. Oh, like at the very end, like Mandalorian coming this day.
Yeah, that would do it. That would do it for me. I'd be like, yes, this is gonna be amazing.
And the Emperor laughing one more time, just really good thing.
And you're like, oh God, how is this possible? But this is the thing though that I keep coming back to. Like, how in this show are they going to explain that, like, Ahsoka Tano was around, but never appears in the sequels?
Nope.
And, are there other Jedi, presumably, other Jedi that are around that never appear in the sequels? Like, how are they going to loop that without just killing all of them? Which I hope they don't do, because that would suck.
Yeah, I think we might be heading toward a Jedi genocide here. So.
Oh no! It'll be episode 2. It'll be episode 3 all over again. Order 66. That would be brutal. That would be so brutal. But it'll be interesting. I'm perhaps, again, like I said last time, more excited because they're playing it so cloak and dagger. Makes me feel like they got something in store for us.
Indeed.
All right, last bit of news. This is not on the Disney side, but still in the realm of superheroes. Joaquin Phoenix offered $50 million for 2 Joker sequels. Bit surprising. This is coming from comicbook.com. How do we feel about this news, Kirk?
I feel like I don't know why you would want to see 2 more movies like that, or how it would even be possible to have 2 more tales to tell that are anywhere close to the caliber of the first one, with him and Robert De Niro and Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz,
my favorite celebrity name. But I totally could see him, if he wanted to roll and be the new Joker for other films, rolling with Robert Pattinson and his version of Batman. But I hope this is just fake news. It's so silly.
It's so strange. I feel like that first Joker movie really should be a standalone film. I feel like the message that they were trying to drive home in that movie is really a one-shot, and that they delivered it effectively And that movie's highly interpretive, so some people take it different ways. You know, some people as a tale of masculinity, some people see it as a tale of mental health, some people see it as a tale of, you know, like be kind, you know, like there's all kinds of different interpretive. It's you know, in my opinion, a great movie, and so elicits all types of interpretation. But I think what it doesn't really emit is like franchise. You know, like the way that thing comes together and ends, it's just like it's like an art house supervillain movie. And I mean, super, I use that term lightly, but it's, you know, it's like an art house comic book movie that's really kind of one and done and serves its purpose.
You know, there is this fascination of right now, and there always has been, but obviously with the success of Marvel, to do a film strictly from the villain's perspective.
Yeah.
And when you do 30 of them, does it lose its power? Yeah, kind of. Sure. Joker is the blueprint for this now. Honestly, it's the one that's been done the best. And if you do 30 and then you have sequels off of those 30, like, no, I'm not going to be thrilled to see it. It's not going to be good. Like, we're already getting Venom 2. Like, why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this Joker movie, like we've said it's disturbing. Like, you can watch it multiple times, but it's not like I'd like to hear more about that. You know what I mean?
What
it's like,
comes next? You know,
I know. Like, you're not exactly clamoring for that.
Nah.
So it's odd. It feels like a money grab, and I hate that. And that's like so DC. They do this from time to time, and I feel like they're on the right path. And Joker was like kind of a good sign that they are on the right path. But getting, you know, dollar signs in their eyes, trying to get more money out of this thing that feels like a one shot, in my opinion, is a bad sign. So I hope that, and Joaquin, I don't know, doesn't feel like the franchise guy to me. I know that he kind of toyed with the idea of like being in Marvel movies in the past as well, but I just don't see him as that guy. I don't see him playing the same character over and over and over again. That's just like, he's an artist. He really is. And he, in the most like self-important way possible, and I don't mean that to demean him, but I just mean like he takes it very seriously, and he really wants to like put art out into the world. So I can't see him viewing a 3-movie Joker series as that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully $50 million would be nice, though.
Be super nice. And I mean, after a year of no work, who knows what these actors will agree to. But I hope he passes. I really hope he just says, I'm good, man.
Let's see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys posted on that. So that's all we've got for movie news this week. That's all that's popping at the moment, but I'm sure there will be more. So as always, keep posted on social media. We've got all this stuff for you there and more. There are lots of stories that don't make the cut week to week, so you can always catch everything that's happening as soon as it's happening on our social media pages. All right, let's review this movie, Kirk. We got Mulan. This is huge.
Time to review.
Don't punch me. You're going to punch your light off the top of your computer, and I'm going to laugh.
That'll be tragic.
No, so we've got Mulan this week. This is a big-time Disney remake. This is a big-time movie. People love Mulan. It has probably one of the largest followings of any Disney movie ever. I think, you know, that generation, like right behind us, Kirk, is obsessed with this movie. And I mean like right behind us, like a couple of years younger. Mulan was huge. I mean, it was huge whenever I was younger too, but I just really think it's like Lion King status for some slightly younger people. So this was a big one for sure.
This was one I would even watch on replay.
Yeah.
I'm 3 years older than you, and I was like, yeah, I'll throw Mulan on. Why not? And, you know, my sister is 3 years older than me, and she wasn't replaying that. I was the one like, let's throw Mulan on. It's got some sick tracks. It's got some great action, great story. So, yeah.
It's a great movie. So this was definitely a really anticipated. I think people were curious about this one. So let's go through it. I think I'm on synopsis this week. Does that sound right to you?
You are. I hope you know how to do it. You only have 3 movies, really. Mulan 2, Mulan, and Mulan live action. So I hope you can get this right without spoiling.
Oh, man, Mulan 2. I have to admit, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I have no desire to watch that whatsoever.
Yeah. So I'll keep it short for you guys. Mulan is the tale of a female warrior who poses as a male warrior to keep her dad from going to war. So instead of being Hua Mulan, she poses as Hua Jun and joins the Imperial Army to fight off, what are they called in this movie? The Rorin invaders, the northern invaders who are the equivalent of the Huns from the first movie. And she, a little bit of a different flavor in this movie. They have this entity of chi, which is sort of like an enlightenment that people have, in that some people are more in touch with their chi than others. It's almost like the Force, and allows them to be. It's a gift and allows you to really like excel in terms of like being a warrior, and those who are like truest of heart have unlocked their chi. And Mulan's been like really gifted with this from really day one, since she was a child. But because she's a female, she can't use it in battle, and so she has to pose as a man. And so that's kind of where this story starts. You guys probably know how it ends, but we will dive into it, because this movie does have some pretty key differences from the original film. No music, meaning no singing, no songs.
Right.
No real comedic flair to it. It's a lot more of a dramatic retelling, and some different characters. So it's interesting, but we'll get into our review and we'll see where we land. I am starting it off with the Oscar goes to, and my Oscar is going to Mulan herself, Yifei Liu, who plays Mulan, a Chinese actress. I thought she was very good. She didn't have like as much dialogue as you would think for a lead character in the movie. She did a lot of talking with body language and physical acting, but she had really good timing, I thought, and did a really good job of like taking control of a moment and making it as impactful as possible. Waiting to deliver lines and driving it home with body language and with her facial expressions. And she really did command this movie. I thought she was a great choice for Mulan. She really fit well into that warrior mold. She had like that look in her eye of like you really believe that she was, like a warrior princess, like this, someone who could get the job done. And that's pretty cool for somebody who's just an actor. Like, you have to create that. She's not actually a warrior in real life, so she had to come up with that. And it was really impressive. I thought she did a good job and anchored the movie, which was, she's the lead, so that's her job, and she did it very, very well.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you are not only the protagonist, not only the lead character, but you're also the title character. Like, your name is Mulan, the movie
titular role.
You better do it right. Much like all of our Marvel friends, like they were the title of the movie is their superhero name. So yeah, you gotta pick the right person, and that's why I also picked her. I cannot pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Yifei Liu. Yeah, she was great. She really constructed all the different facets of Mulan very, very carefully. When she had to be a daughter, she was a daughter. She was angsty. When she had to be a sister, they give her a sister in this version, in the live action. And you would have thought that was her real life sister. Like the jokes they told, the way they interacted, it was so sweet and playful. When she was a woman pretending to be a man, there were some comedic parts in there, but there were also some struggles and kind of annoyance at times too. And then her full-on passion of being a warrior and fighting the bad guys, in this movie. I think she just constructed all of that so carefully, which is why it was such an easy answer to pick her as well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with all of the above there. Scene stealer. I almost said showstopper. We're not there yet. Scene stealer. I am so excited to announce my scene stealer. This is a guy who I love dearly. You may not know this, Kirk, but I really like kung fu movies. I went through a period of time where I watched a bunch of them, And Donnie Yen, that's my guy. And
Yeah.
Donnie Yen plays Commander Tung in this adaptation of Mulan. Gets lots of screen time, gets lots of good dialogue. We get to really see his acting chops actually in Rogue One. He was the blind, like, force sensitive guy who's like, I am one with the force is with me. He kept saying that over and over again. You know, I know Donnie Yen from the Ip Man series of films, which is, you know, in my opinion, the greatest series of kung fu movies ever. And he is so fantastic. When he came on the screen, I didn't even realize he was on this cast list. I was just like, yes, Donnie Yen. Hot take, I think he's the best martial arts movie guy ever. Better than Bruce Lee, better than Jackie Chan. I think he just, you know, he didn't get as much popularity as those guys, but his movies are, you know, second to none. You know, the Ip Man movies are just so great. He was such a good actor in this movie, though, man. I mean, he was really responsible. His dialogue was supposed to be really profound and have a very profound impact on Mulan's life. And I think, so this will kind of go into my director's shoes a little bit, but like the writing was a little bit underdeveloped in this movie. I felt like they kind of phoned it in at times on the writing. And so I do think that Donnie Yen had a tough role to kind of like be this profound guiding force for Mulan without being cheesy. And I think he actually walked that tightrope pretty well, and, you know, made it so that at times he's like even making callbacks to the previous, to the original film, and doing so in a way that it sounds really natural and doesn't sound like, you see what I did there? You know what I mean? Like, he's not like milking it. So I thought, you know, the writing put him in a position where he had to make sure he was really, really acting. And he was a savvy vet. He took care of business, and he was so good. So Donnie Yen is my scene stealer.
Yeah, that man can command any scene because he could kill you at any moment is really what it comes down to.
That's right, with one hand.
Just like he could probably like flick you, or I mean, definitely he can punch you.
Just like you're
not
still
punching.
No.
We're an hour into this.
No, I'm not flinching.
Anyways,
you're not Donnie Yen.
Well, I could be with 30 years of training. My scene stealer is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Yason An, maybe. Okay. So Yason An plays a character named Hong Hui, and he is in the brigade of the Emperor's squad that's going to fight the Huns, the Rorin rather, the bad guys. I'm just going to say bad guys. And so he initially meets Mulan when Mulan is pretending to be a son, and they become friends throughout, as you would imagine. He's the love interest, so no Donny Osmond pretending to be an Asian man. This
right.
Of Mulan, and I don't know. He was really what captured my attention. He was really down to earth at times, and he was very logical with he sorted his feelings. He's like, I'm a warrior. Oh, you're mad at me? That's okay. Be mad at me. I'm going to be a warrior. I'm going to have your back. You have mine. And there's something about you that's different. I might like you, but wait a second, you're a dude. You know, so there's all these sorts of feelings that are going on, and he shows them all very well, and he plays with them very well. So yeah, Yusan An playing Hong Hui.
Yeah, lots of charm.
Charm,
you know, just really like emanates charm. Very real, like you said. I thought he was great too, and was definitely like sort of my runner-up in terms of the acting awards. So I think that's a good call. Glad we're highlighting that performance for sure.
Yes.
Let's move on to showstoppers. So going back to the kung fu movie things, I mean, I think that my showstopper is something that I just was not expecting, which was just how much of an homage this movie really is to Chinese cinema and Asian cinema, and especially the genre of martial arts films. And the way that they did it, if you're not familiar with the genre, you would be like, wow, that looks really bad and cheesy. But that fighting style and looking like you're floating through the air and having all of these different hand-to-hand combat styles, like that is a genre of film that it's a time-honored tradition and something that is very important to the culture. And so it was really cool. Like, you expect this movie to honor ancient Chinese culture, hopefully. I'm not super familiar with ancient Chinese culture, but I hope that this movie lived up to that aspect of it. But I was not expecting it to go back to the Chinese cinema roots with the martial arts films, and I loved it, man. Every fight scene, I was like, this is awesome. This reminds me of all of those great kung fu films, the slow motion, the doing backflips on seemingly thin air, like doing tricks on wires that you can't see, like that stuff all delivered for me. And I think that stuff, like I said, if you're not familiar with the genre, it could be a little bit polarizing. You'd be like, that's preposterous. But I mean, this was like a Bruce Lee movie. Like, this looked like, those fighting sequence really looked like that. And I totally dug that. So that was a showstopper for me. That was something that just kept me engaged the whole time, was waiting for the next big fight scene.
Yeah. I was also enamored with the combat scenes. If Donnie Yip is on your cast, you can bet he's going to be the stage combat captain as well. I don't know that he was for sure, but most likely, right? So it was really, really well done. It had surprise. Sometimes you see movies when there's, again, combat where they're fighting hand to hand, and you're like, okay, well, they tried. And this one was very well choreographed and executed well. So I hear you on that all the way. My showstopper has got to be the training camp montage, because this is just embedded in your brain. Be a man from the original. And this whole film is about transformation. We have Mulan, who is, again, all the different facets. She's a daughter. She is a sister. She is a warrior. She is a woman. She is a woman trying to fit in the realms of men's rules at that time, right? And of today's time. And so what we see here in this transformation was even more well done than the cartoon, as we see her fight and struggle and climb and really just own it once she gets there. So it was a little bit of a harder montage for her in this one, and I really just loved the way that played out. And that stretch of the film, I was like, this is why they did this movie, because someone had a vision to make this sequence of events happen. So that really rung well with me.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, I think that's, to your point, man, the Be a Man scene from the original is one of the great Disney scenes of all time, one of the great montages set to music, that we've seen in Disney animated films. So this had a lot to live up to. And of course they were going to do it different. They obviously don't have, a big musical number, but they worked with what they had and they did a great job. I love that call out. I think that's really astute. I think that's a good one, Kirk.
Thank you.
All right, director's shoes. I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I just think that they could have... I just think that there could have been a little bit more care in constructing this narrative. It felt very corporate to me, to be honest with you. Just like Disney being like, well, we have to do this remake. Let's play it safe. Like, we can get a little bit weird with the martial arts stuff, but let's not get too weird, and let's not get too crazy with our with our narrative. But I just felt like, from a dialogue perspective, it just really fell short a lot of the time. I just wanted them to go farther. I wanted this to feel dramatic and epic, and at times it did, but at times it didn't. And so that, to me, is kind of, I'm left wanting. I'm just like, man, commit to making something new. You're making a remake, like, really commit to telling the story and doing it in a way that's the best that you possibly can. Don't just don't throw in these predictable, storylines that we've seen and predictable tools that people have been using in movies for a long time. Like give us something here and give us a narrative that is compelling and dialogue that's rich. And I just didn't feel like we had that consistently throughout. So that's really the main area that this movie falls short for me. I think otherwise it checks a lot of boxes, and I'm sure I'll go into it more whenever I give my overall thoughts on the movie, but I'm just like, man, you guys could have done a really, really good job. I think you did a good job, but I think you could have done a really, really good job here.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I have a lot of gripes with Mulan live action.
Let's hear it.
You often say, why make this movie? Why convert it from cartoon to live action? What's the point? What do you have to say? And that resonated with me hard during this one. You said that it was careful. You said that it didn't take the big risks. They played it safe. It was filmed and created through that Disney lens. Yeah. And the trailer made it seem like it wasn't. And that's where the dupe was. You know exactly what you're going to get the first action sequence of this film, albeit it was good, but it was very Disney. And I feel like there's a big mistake there. This movie should have been at least PG-13. This movie should have had the characters speaking in true Chinese language. I don't think there was a single word spoken in the Chinese language in this film. Maybe I'm wrong, but there could have been. There were so many opportunities to make to pay an homage, to make it more real because of that. Again, this movie was about transformation, but what I was so frustrated with is that in this version of Mulan, they had to essentially give her superpowers to accomplish the same goal as cartoon Mulan did. And it was like, wait a second. In a year and several years of momentum of female empowerment, why are we diminishing what story was already told, that was told well, into saying, okay, yeah, you can do all these things, but hey, we're gonna throw in a superpower, so no one has to. No one's going to disbelieve when a full army of men react to you in such a positive way after you duped them for a couple of months, pretending to be a dude. I just think that there was a fundamental flaw with that when other parts of Mulan's full storyline of transformation was so fluid and so well. That one really bothered me. And then there was no ensemble, so maybe that's why, because it was solely the Mulan show. But in the cartoon in the 90s, it was a whole team, and they were friends, and they built each other up. Yeah, they messed with each other, they knocked each other down, but then ultimately they came to an understanding of each other. So the ensemble was down. They tried to insert some of the song lyrics into the regular dialogue. You mentioned the dialogue fell short, and I was cringing with all of my being. I was like, no, why would they do that? No. At times it felt like they were just trying to get to the next song without trying to make you feel like the song was missing, but it was so apparent. And then the last thing I have here, it's a long laundry list, but after I watched the movie and I looked up the cast list, Jet Li played the Emperor, which blew my mind. He was terrible.
Yeah, not great.
And when he spoke, it felt like a spaghetti western is what I was watching. Like someone had dubbed over his actual dialogue, which maybe they did. I don't know, because historically, Jet Li has not been the best bilingual, into English speaker, which is fine. Who cares? He could kick my butt any day. But anyways, I rest my case. The jury, it is up to you to determine guilty or not guilty.
Yeah, and I think that's all valid. I really do. I think that's all valid. I think, I think we both agree that corporate Disney was definitely at play here. That they clearly had a hand in saying, hey, we want to make this movie, and here are the things that you can mess with. Here are the things that you're not going to mess with. Here are the things that need to go a certain way. And unfortunately, it was the narrative and the dialogue and the approach that was very corporate.
And the chi, like, why? Like
the chi could have worked.
It could have.
The chi could have worked, and it almost seemed like it was going to, but they sort of botched the execution of it to where it ends up where exactly what you said. Like, oh, so Mulan can only, be a warrior because she has this. And so it's not just like women have something to offer. It's like super women have something to offer and the rest can stay at home. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine if there are. We have Captain Marvel, we have Wonder Woman, we have a whole assortment of
Yeah.
super women out there, and this one is not that, and they tried to make it that, and
Yeah.
so frustrating.
Yeah, it was an odd choice. So we'll transition into final thoughts. I mean, I think overall for me, this movie has more to offer than your typical Disney remake, and maybe I shouldn't factor that into my review, but I do because again, it comes back to what you said, Kirk. Like, why are we remaking this movie? And that has to be the question that you ask every time that there's a remake. What are we doing? Is there a reason to do this update? Do you have a different story to tell? I've said from the beginning, when this movie first was announced, that this movie had the best chance of really succeeding as a remake because it lends itself to that dramatic retelling. It has the action, it has the hardcore plot line with really good character development. It really does lend itself to a dramatic retelling with no music. I was glad that they committed hard to no musical numbers, no vocals, no nothing, which some of the other Disney remakes have caved into. They're like, but we have to have that song. You can't do this movie without that song.
Yep.
They're, Jungle Book was that one for me. They're like, well, we have to do the bare necessities. We have to do the bare necessities. So this movie didn't fall into that trap, but I think overall definitely left wanting in terms of what this thing could have been. So they did some things that surprised me. I thought the martial arts stuff really did surprise me and was a nice flavor. But, in other areas, they fell short. So I'm giving it a 6.8 out of 10. I think that it could have been much better. I'm a little disheartened that it wasn't better. But I think that overall, I enjoyed watching the movie. I thought it was different enough to where I got done watching it. I was like, okay, they told me something slightly different there. But again, there were some executional things that were not done well. The chi, for example, the dialogue at times was really bad. There were some just, they left a lot on the table and they botched some other things. So I think it could have been better, but I'm going to give this 6.8 out of 10. I would maybe watch it again. I'll probably watch it again with my wife. But beyond that, it's definitely not better than the original.
No.
Not really close. Not really close for sure.
No, that is a nice score. That's a nice score, Cameron. I can't get past the chi thing. I mean, it did not work when Marvel did it in Netflix's Iron Fist. It failed miserably. I really think, again, if this was a little bit grittier, if this had, the native Chinese tongue in it, it would have felt like all of their different concepts would have fully connected because they were kind of hanging out there. And I just feel like they missed the boat on it. And now I'm going to read this very well rehearsed statement here. So here we go. At its core, Mulan live action made it seem that its protagonist had to have superpowers to save the day and attempt to expound on extreme hyperrealism that didn't need to be explored. I'll watch the original any day over this. I wish that the director of The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise would have directed this because we would have had the movie that we deserved that would have matched up with the trailer that we saw. I'm giving this a 4.2 kernels out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think it's a good score. I think this is one. I wondered where you would land, and I wondered where I would land. I think it's a movie that's polarizing, and I think that you get what you get out of it. I think for me, unfortunately, I go into every Disney remake now expecting a shot-for-shot remake that's worse than the original, and I was pleased that this was not that. So I will give it that. Like, this was not a shot-for-shot remake, so if you think that it is, it's not, which is nice. It definitely has a lot of the same elements. I would say like some of the new stuff that they add just doesn't really work, from new characters to the chi. Like, it felt like a lot of the stuff that they added didn't exactly enhance the narrative and maybe even brought it down a little bit. So that I think is where it falls short. But you guys should definitely check it out. It will be, if you have a Disney Plus subscription membership, you will have this movie in December. So if you don't feel like spending the $30, based on what we said or just based on your general feelings, wait it out and watch it in December for relatively free. No incremental cost, I should say. So,
or just get Cam's password. It's 647L asterisk.
That's actually probably pretty close. My passwords are wild times. You'll never crack the code. Never.
Challenge accepted.
All right, that is Mulan. That's one we've been looking forward to a long time. If you've seen Mulan, hit us up on social. We want to hear your thoughts. Like I said, I think this movie is probably going to feel pretty different to everybody. I think there are different things to take away. I think there are different feelings. I think depending on the mood that you're in, you could honestly have a very different opinion of this movie at any given time. So I want to hear what people have to say because I'm very intrigued to hear all the different opinions that are out there. All right, Kirk, and it is with reluctance that I say,
whoa.
Bring on your mystery game. I'm just always scared. I'm always scared of the games.
Though.
I am always scared of the games, Kirk. Always.
That cuts deep.
Just because I think that I will perform terribly and then I will hate myself.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this game. I have no clue. But let me just tell you, first of all, the title of our game, ladies and gentlemen. The title of this game is called You Paid What? That's how I like to describe it.
Wait, can you do that again?
Yeah, hold on one second. You paid what? That's the title. Did you record that?
That's the title. No, I didn't, but I made a popping sound at the end.
Very nice. Because as we were all sticker shocked, I think I scared my dog, by the way. So she's barking.
She's like, oh, what?
She just like lost it.
She's like, it's midnight. What's happening?
Who's screaming? Someone's down there killing him. That's why. I gotta get to him, but all the doors are locked. So that's how she talks. Didn't you know? This came about because I was thinking, like, you know, the sticker shock of it's gonna be $30, you know, to pay for this, you know. Then I got to thinking, like, well, like, how much am I going to spend if I go see this in the theater? You know, all sorts of things came to mind. So then I thought, like, what else could I just randomly ask Cameron? How much would you pay for something? And then tell you the real price of it. So in a way, it's like Price is Right, but because of copyright laws, I won't call it that. So here we go.
Our listeners are going to find out how my value of money is so askew for some reason. I can justify any purchase. I can be like, what? $10 in Mario Kart Tour for this car and 45 gems? That seems like fair market value.
Oh, your life is about to change. So
yes, let's do it.
If you're watching on video, because this is on YouTube, just a reminder, you'll be able to see the images through my iPad that I hold up. If you're not, I will try to describe them after I show them to Cameron. So Cam, here is the first one. This is called Posh Instant Noodles. Are you ready?
Instant noodles. Yes, I'm ready.
Tell me what you would pay for this or what you would expect it to be paid for.
Okay, so it's a cup of noodles, presumably microwavable.
Yes.
Pot. Oh, you said pot noodles.
Pot noodles.
Is that Yoda on there?
No, I think those are the noodles.
Oh, those are the noodles. $1.99.
$1.99?
Yeah.
This tiny little noodle container is $43.
What?
$43. It is more than the cost of Mulan to rent on Premier Access at Disney Plus.
Is it made with illegal drugs in it?
I think so. It must have gold inside the soup of the noodle. No, for $43 a cup, you can have one of 100 exclusive pot noodle cups. Each Posh noodle comes in hand-flocked gold leaf pot, so there is gold. And because you like to be civilized while you eat your instant noodles, also comes with a fork and table linen. So yeah.
What?
That is Posh instant noodles.
Posh?
Posh.
Why does it say pot on the thing?
I don't know. There's some confusion there. I would like to cite my source material now at coolmaterial.com just in case any of this is incorrect, and we can live with that in the future. Are you ready for your second item?
I am so ready.
Of You Paid What?
Yes.
This is a concrete alto, doorstop.
Okay.
Sounds fancy. Or is it? This is a doorstop,
It's a
essentially.
doorstop. Oh, it does look fancy. It looks ergonomically designed.
Yes.
So which part of that do you put under the door?
I think the whole thing just sits upright against the door. Because, let me remind you of the material. It is concrete. It is concrete.
Well, this is like a one man's trash thing. So, like, for me, I have no use for a doorstop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
it's made of concrete, which is pretty cheap material, I feel like.
Right. You know, you have to shape it. So maybe there's like an artist price to
Yeah,
this.
I would say like $11.
$11. Cam, the price is $3,500.
But why? But why, Kirk? Can it hold extraordinarily heavy doors?
Oh, all of the doors. It can hold all of the doors. You see, while the rest of us, Cameron, are using cinder blocks we found outside for doorstops, somewhere in some mansion, there's a chunk of cement like this holding a door open. You may, but probably don't notice that this doorstop is shaped like an Alvar e Alto Savoy vase. That's because it was originally cast in one of the original vases and then shattered to let out the mold. That is why this that is why this ridiculous doorstop is $3,500.
That's insane. I wish I had enough money to where I was like, yeah, that seems fair.
Right.
Like, yeah, what was that? $3,500? Yeah, seems about right.
I don't know why anyone would spend money on that, but this is a real item. This next one is going to be well worth it. So strap in. Literally, this is a carbon fiber toilet seat.
Carbon fiber
Toilet seat. I kind of want to just buy this right after we end our show here.
It's black. It looks a little cushy. Is it cushy? Can you confirm that for me?
Carbon fiber. There's the texture and your face and the reflection because it's black.
Oh, that does look kind of nice.
What if your face was also printed on the back of the toilet seat? I think that would be pretty spectacular.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about toilet seats. I've come in my older age to appreciate the toilet seat more because as a parent, the bathroom is your refuge from chaos at times. And don't let my wife hear this. But sometimes you just have to go to the bathroom, quote unquote, and you take your iPad with you or your phone and you play some games, you watch some TikToks, you do your thing. And so for me, prolonging the time based on comfort alone would be worthwhile. And that looks like a pretty swanky toilet seat. We actually just bought a toilet seat for downstairs. It was like $25.
Oh, wow.
I got to say, if that thing looks as Shangri-La as it does.
Top of the line, Cam. I
would pay $55 for it.
That's a lot of money for a toilet seat.
I know.
But not as much as this toilet seat costs, Cam. This is $249.
Wow. That thing must be swanky.
Oh, to rest your bum on something so fantastic. It is carbon fiber. Not to mention it beats the 24-karat gold toilet seat because that exists in terms of practicality. Because this one, it's actually comfortable. You got a gold one.
It looks extraordinarily comfortable.
Right?
It really does.
You see, gold is just going to get like oily from your body and
gross. I'm gonna puke.
And it's gonna get, I don't know, like tarnished. It's gonna be extremely cold every single time.
It looks like that carbon fiber one. You could sit on that guy and watch the entire movie Pearl Harbor without feeling uncomfortable. Unlike this chair that I'm sitting in right now, which is currently destroying my lower back.
You could watch, The Irishman like 4 times over and just really, really catch all of the nuances of that film.
Yeah, right.
And, since we're on the topic of toilets, I've got one last item for you.
Okay, ready.
What? So this is a Renova-colored toilet paper. Renova-colored toilet paper. Here we go.
Renova. What does Renova mean?
I have no.
Renova is the brand. Is the brand.
Yeah, it must be like notable. I've never heard of it before.
Colorful toilet paper is basically what we've got here.
Yeah, so you're looking at black.
It looks
green.
like wrapping paper, and that scares me. That feels like that would be bad.
Or like really like cheap birthday banner stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, like like ribbon,
streamers.
Yeah, streamers. Yeah, so here's the thing. I would say, like, if it's my money, I would pay less than I pay for normal toilet paper. So what is that, like 50 cents a roll or something like that?
Let me describe. Let me see if I can get a unit count on this. This is going to be a 3-pack set. A 3-pack set.
What does that mean? 3 rolls?
3 rolls.
Okay. If I was guessing, based on all of the preposterous prices that you've thrown out already, if I was guessing how much this costs, I'm guessing no less than $100.
Ooh. That's a good guess.
I bet it's high. It's got to be high. If that's not high, I quit humanity. I just quit. I can't live in a world where someone would pay more money than that for this.
No, your logic is sound. Actually, if you went on the $100 pricing, you'd actually have more like 15 rolls of toilet paper.
Thank God.
This is $20 for a pack of 3. $20 for a pack of 3. Yeah.
But why, Kirk? But why?
But what? You paid what?
Yeah.
What?
Why?
So that's what, when you think about the cost of Mulan, live action, premiere access, it's not as crazy as we all thought, because
it's true.
You could be sitting.
Though I wish I would have bought the $249 toilet seat before Mulan. I could have watched it from my toilet, which would have been great.
Like, where is Cameron?
Yeah, nobody will find me. I'm just gone.
Daddy.
Yeah, my son is banging on the door. That's usually what's happening, screaming. Ah!
Oh, I'm just sitting on my carbon fiber toilet seat. I need to get a lot of miles on it because I paid $249.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here instead of in normal chairs because it was so expensive. Well, that was a fun game, Kirk. I've lost a little bit of hope in humanity and certainly hope in the free market system that anybody would ever pay that much money for any of that stuff. That's insane.
Yes.
It's insane. Well, thanks for the game. You paid what? What?
Ooh. I like the way you said that.
Go high-pitched. All right, let's wrap the show. 52-week movie challenge is still a thing. Deer Hunter. Hey, when you guys picked Deer Hunter for the movie that I'm going to review this week, nobody told me it was 3 hours long.
Ooh.
You jerks. That hurts. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm chunking my way through that movie and through the blog at the same time. So that'll be coming sometime this weekend, probably. Probably this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. You guys know how this goes. But the Chicken Run blog is still out there. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to read that, that's a pretty fun one. And Deer Hunter will be following shortly after. Additionally, I teased the video that I made earlier, little Colonel Corner segment about Kang the Conqueror and Jonathan Majors, and go more into detail about what that really could mean for the MCU. So if you're interested in speculation, fan theories, stuff like that, all things MCU, definitely check out that video. You can find it on our website. You can find it on our YouTube page. As Kirk mentioned and I mentioned, we're also videoing this episode that we're doing right now. And so if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or through our podcast channels, go check us out on YouTube and throw us a subscribe. We post video content fairly regularly. We're trying to ramp that up a little bit more and trying to do more episode content so you guys can watch us and get a little bit more information, like the Kang video, the Black Widow video, and a few other things that we've done. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on popcorn4breakfast.com. And other than that, that's all we got for this week. I want to give a special thanks to our executive producer, Ryan Spriggs. And of course, our original music is by the group Rhetoric. That's Rhetoric. And you can find them on Amazon Music, Apple Music, or Spotify. We will see you guys next time.
Talk to you then.